Hey everybody, we're back with part 2 of our WoW Classic Alpha Hardcore series, and I just wanted to say that I'm really thankful for the views that we've been getting. Over 100 people have watched the video since yesterday, and while that's just a drop in the ocean for a lot of people out there, for me it's quite a lot, and I really do appreciate it. With that being said, let's get into it. Last time we left off at Brill, and we're just checking out the trade supplies guy right now, who really does have a lot of trade supplies, all of them as a matter of fact. And now we're checking out the skills at the priest trainer. As you can see, even though the alpha stops at level 25, there is a lot of skills. Some of them you can't actually train because they're for level 25 and up. One of them being dominate, interestingly enough, so that's really an old skill, as well as a skill that makes like a debuff, a shadow word that makes the enemy miss their attacks. So there's a lot of stuff here that didn't make it into the actual classic release. Maybe I'll go through all of the spells for each of the classes in a different video, but right now we're just kind of skimming over it. Also, the Innkeeper is not in the game yet, and here we're turning in the pumpkins to someone who already is a ghoul. Actually, he should be turning into one, but I guess that's a bug. Now we're gonna check out the riding instructor who you can talk to, and the guy that sells the mounts who doesn't have any in stock. Interestingly enough, I tried talking to the enchanting trainer. That skill or that profession doesn't seem to be in the game either. We're just going to be picking our first herbs off the run. A lot of silver leaves around Tirisfal. I'm not sure if that's region specific, but I would say around 80% of all the herbs that we're finding are actually silver leaf. So that's quite interesting. We're going to go into the first quest that we got in Brill, which is going to be the Putrid Claws. For anyone that's done this quest before will know that, it's going to take quite a while. So do take note of how much experience we have right now. We're 2 bars off level 6. As this quest concludes, we're going to be at around, I think, halfway to level 7 even. So yeah, as you can see top left, this was one mob, and I mean he almost hit me down to 30-40% HP, which is a result of well, the HP and the mana does increase on level up, but not as much as you would expect, because of course in the original or the actual classic version you do get stamina and other stat points on top of your HP and mana increase, which is not the case here. So I think the HP increases by around 19 per level, at least on these early levels. I don't know if it scales exponentially or how it works, but that's not a lot, obviously. So you will actually see me on later levels also skill some stamina points through the talent system. Oh, actually, to be precise, I'm not skilling the stamina points because I noticed something interesting about the skill system, which is that you can spend 10 talent points to get 1 stamina, or you can spend 10 talent points to get around, how much is it, 20 health. So obviously that's the better deal, because 1 stamina is 10 health. I'm just speeding up the footage here right now. It's on 10 times speed, and as you can see, we really do have to kill a lot of these ghouls to actually fill up the Putrid Claws. I decided to not cut it. I wanted to show you like how many you have to kill, because obviously in the classic version itself it's also quite a grind, but I don't remember it being that bad. I think they did increase the drop rate for 1.12 or whatever the classic re-release 1.13 would be. Imagine doing this on a populated alpha server or on any populated server whatsoever. I had to basically kill the whole ghoul population of Tirisfal just to get that quest done. And it took me around, well, this is sped up. I think it took me around 15 minutes of just doing that quest. So we hit level 6, we get back to Brill, and we are learning sleep. So that's kind of nice. Also talking to the alchemy and herbalism supplier behind the Brill town hall. She has, I'm sorry, actually a couple of lesser healing potions, which I think I'm going to be buying. Maybe, I mean, I should be. Actually, I only have 3 silver right now, so if I were to buy those 3 that she has in stock, it would be absolutely broke. So I opt not to do it. Interesting thing about the profession menu here is that you can't create all. So for all, for every item that I'm crafting, I have to manually click it. So that's definitely a quality of life change that is much appreciated in the newer version. Once again, I kind of skimmed over it yesterday, but the finding herbs, finding minerals, mining nodes thingy only lasts for 1 minute. So this is not an aura that's permanent, which is kind of annoying. Next up, we're heading towards Solidon's farmstead, where we collected the pumpkins yesterday to kill some of the Scarlet mobs. I think there's nothing too much changed about the animations of those male human models. Like I said, the stance is a little bit different on most of the races. They stand a bit more, I would almost say a bit more dynamically. They have 1 foot forward a lot of the time, even when they're standing still. Whereas I think in the 1.12, 1.13 version, it's a bit more static in that sense. I will also say what I noticed is if you pay attention sometimes when I buff myself with a Holy Word Shield, I prefer the way it looks. Oh yeah, here we're just checking out what's to the west of Solidon's farmstead. On Turtle Wow, this whole western area of the map is actually Western Tirisfal or Tirisfal Uplands for level 15 to level 20, so that's a really nice touch. It's its own questing hub. It's got its own lore and backstory, and once again, you know, I'm I do enjoy Turtle WoW, so I would like to advertise that for any of you who enjoy WoW Classic and would like a breath of fresh air. But in this version, there's nothing there, just a puddle of murlocs. On our way back, we finished the quest where we're collecting the Scarlet Rings, which actually only have a question mark icon here, so also not quite finished there. And yeah, on the screen you can see right now, this is the Power World Shield. It looks almost like a blessing of protection for the paladin, except a little bit more golden. What's also interesting is on 1.12, 1.13, if you were to have a bird's eye view of your character, you will actually realize that the Power World Shield is only 2D. So it's like yeah, I have to show you in a different video actually, but so here it's not 2D. If you were to go a bird's eye, you would see like a 360 circle around your character, whereas on the live version, it's only going 2 ways, and it's just an illusion of it being a circle around your character. So there's a lot of stuff that they did that, toned down the need for powerful computers, I suppose, less performance. Here we find our second rare of the run, a lost soul. And interestingly enough, just as with the first one that we killed in the mine yesterday on level 4, this one is also going to drop a cloak, a wispy cloak, but this cloak we can actually equip. However, that was before they had introduced visuals on the cloaks. I think that happened in 0.6 or 0.7 due to popular demand. So even though we're wearing a cloak, you can't see it. And no, I'm not using the option to, you know, have it be invisible as you can in the live version. I pulled 2 mobs here, and I gotta say, like those, yeah, I did use a pot here. Those casters are pretty strong, so maybe there's a case to be made for going for resistances, although I wouldn't want to spend precious talent points on that, seeing as there are a lot of schools of magic, and even if you were resistant to one, then the others would still pose a problem. I think we're finishing up this quest right here, right now on the Agamemnon's Mills, and afterwards we're going to be heading back to Brill. So far, I have to say, after hitting level 6, the game got a little bit easier with the Power World Shield, as well as the Shadow Word Pain. It's quite good, actually, although I'm getting a lot of resists, because as I said yesterday, briefly, there are some schools of magic, and you basically level them up just as you would weapon skills in the actual version. Fun fact about that, in Shadowfang Keep, there are still in 1.12/1.13 mobs that will affect you with a curse. It's called Forsaken Skills, as I remember correctly, and it can range from Forsaken Skills for any of your weapon skills, so that will lower your weapon skill, thus decreasing your chance to hit. But interestingly enough, they can also roll Forsaken Skills Fire, Forsaken Skills Holy, etc., etc., which is a remnant from this alpha version where they still used that skill system also for magic. So I find that quite interesting indeed. I was always wondering back in the day, just what was up with that. And since playing this alpha, it's sort of cleared up. So back in the inn, we get some more quests for the mills, which we're gonna be doing in the next video, actually not in this one, because yeah, we're still too low level. I think we're level 8. Yeah, we hit level 8. So there's also some new skills to be learned, but I wouldn't feel comfortable on the hardcore run going up there already. Speaking of hardcore, I will probably be playing the WoW Classic hardcore a little bit. I'm not sure yet. What I saw about it is there is a lot of guides going around, there's a lot of tips and tricks videos, and a lot of useful add-ons. In my opinion, personally, if I were to play a WoW Classic hardcore game, or run for that matter, I wouldn't be using add-ons, I think. Of course, it's nice if you can get ahead of the pack and whatnot by auto quest accepting, a guide that tells you where to go, what to do, or when to buy water, when to learn skills. But honestly, that's not really my style, because WoW Classic in and of itself is, not to say a boring game. I do enjoy it, but if you even take away all the thinking that's to be done, and there's not a lot of thinking to be done in the first place, then what you're left with is just the mechanical side of things, which just boils down to the same 3 buttons basically. So that's why I'm not the biggest fan of simplifying this game, because there's not a lot to do in the first place as a player, except for spend a lot of time doing it. And if you use add-ons to simplify that, then the only thing that you're really doing is spending time without much input from yourself, really. You're just following an arrow. And I mean, well, that's fine if you've never played the game before, or you're not familiar with a faction or a quest line. I have played the game extensively. I would say that I probably know every quest in the game by heart. Maybe that's a stretch, but 95% of all quests I probably do know by heart. So I won't be as efficient as someone using an add-on, but I'm going to be playing the game my way, and I will probably enjoy it more for it. That does mean that I'm not going to be competing for world first or anything, but that was not my plan anyways. A new level of smite at level 8 is gonna be quite handy for us, because I must admit it's been starting to take a lot of casts to get those guys down and out. So a new level of smite is gonna be welcome. The next one is coming in at level 16, so I think level 13 onwards we might struggle a little bit. Anyways, let me know in the comments, if you've watched so far, what your opinion is on the WoW Classic hardcore servers that are releasing officially, whether or not you would be using the add-ons or not. And if you did enjoy it, please do share the video or watch my other videos. As I said, I'm very, very thankful for the views that I've been getting, and I'll try to keep it up. So I wish you all a very nice day.